Now, the process of evolution has to be understood in terms of a complex relationship between chemical material that is expressed in the presence of deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, in the environment. Now, that's what evolution is in very simple terms. It's not a religion. It's not a metaphysical process. Basically what evolution is, as I said, is a retrospective view. Okay, now what Mr. Hovind also is doing is very quickly giving you a lot of fast and fancy footwork with the whole idea of speciation. Overlooking the time factor. Well, he's already prefaced that with his statement that he subscribes to the idea that the Earth is only about 5,000 years old. A viewpoint which, by the way, was rejected by Hutton at the beginning of the 19th century, and carried on and showed to be absolutely incorrect by Charles Lyell in the process of the 19th century. You know, the facts are there, history's there, read it. I don't have to stand here and recapitulate it to you. So, where does all of this come from? Well, basically what we're talking about here is a particular religious point of view. And so why can I, as a self-confessed religionist, stand up and profess to you and attack my fellow religious, and by the way, I might add, fellow Christian? I mean, you do accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, do you not?
I have indeed.
All right, there we go.
And I encourage everybody else to do that as well.
Well, that's good. I too am a Christian. But you know, that really doesn't have much to do with evolution. Because evolution is a process that is very different than what we're talking about here. When we talk about religion, we're talking about basically something we as human beings do when we get together and we talk about and we speculate about the origins of the earth based on our rich history of mythology. Religion is wonderful. I encourage everybody to have a religion. I think that if we're practicing religionists and following very, very carefully, you know, the message of Jesus Christ, that we wouldn't have to stand up here and have discussions like this. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The fact of the matter is, and the fact that you're going to have to reconcile your fact with, is the person, you and the person next to you, is an animal. A very noble animal. An animal that has been around for about 135,000 years. And unfortunately, Mr. Hovind, there is an awful lot of physical evidence, hard physical evidence that you can pick up, touch, see, weigh, and measure to prove that. Thank you.
Frank, if I heard you correctly, you said religion is for more of the origins, more of the history, things like that, of the earth, which fits exactly what I was saying. Religion is a set of beliefs concerning the cause, nature, and purpose of the universe. Can we not see here that evolution is an attempt to answer the cause, nature, and purpose of the universe? Let me define evolution, since we haven't been able to really do that yet, other than to say evolution is a look back and creating what happened. Let's define another term, evolution, here, just so we all know exactly what evolution is. Excuse me. Evolution, the word evolution is actually kind of a tricky word. There's actually 6 different kinds of evolution. If you want to understand evolution in its entirety, you really need to understand the definition of these 6 different types. Excuse me. Definition number 1, we have cosmic evolution. Now, I know, evolutionists say, hey, the Big Bang is not part of evolution. Okay, I'm defining the whole broad scheme of the evolution worldview, starting with cosmic evolution. Cosmic evolution would be the origin of time, space, and matter. I mean, how do you start with nothing and then get everything and not appeal to something outside of time, space, and matter, i.e., a God? You can't do that. You're welcome to believe that time, space, and matter created itself, but that's not part of science. We cannot see, test, or demonstrate that. So the Big Bang Theory is definitely not part of science. It doesn't fit the science that we see today. What about chemical evolution? We have elements today. How many of you guys in school had to memorize the periodic table of elements? You know what I'm talking about? How many of you guys have forgotten it since you memorized it? Yeah, me too. Okay. Well, you got all these elements up there. Well, according to the evolution worldview, we started off with hydrogen and helium that exploded. Nothing exploded, made hydrogen and helium. How do you get the other elements that we have today? How do those elements actually evolve? It's impossible. You can't see it. They say, oh yeah, fusion in stars takes place. Well, you can't get fusion to take place past iron. And now you got a real chicken and egg problem. Which one came first? The stars to create the fusion, or the fusion to create the stars? You got a real serious problem there. What about stellar and planetary evolution? You know, we've never, ever, ever observed one star forming. Never seen a star form. They say, oh yes we have. We saw one get bright right there. Well, you don't know that that wasn't a dust cloud that moved out of the way, or what's about to be a supernova which gets bright before it explodes. You don't know that a star formed. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of stars out there. So many stars out there that every single one of us on planet Earth could own 11 trillion of them. You can have 11 trillion of your own stars. Yay! Go name them. Have fun. There's a lot of stars. Scientists estimate, the current estimate, that there are 70 sextillion stars in our universe, guys. That's a lot. That's number 70, followed by 21 zeros. And you want me to think that all 70 sextillion stars evolved from nothing over 20 billion years? Do the math with me on that. That's the same as 3.5 trillion stars forming every single year. Or 6.5 million stars forming every minute. We don't see that happening. We don't see those 6.5 million stars forming every single minute. What about organic evolution, the origin of life? We're supposed to be talking about that today. How did life originate? Where did abiogenesis actually take place? We don't have any evidence of that. You're welcome to believe that life came from non-life, but you need to understand something. You are believing that. You don't know that. That is a belief system, which is what I'm trying to get across here. Then there's macroevolution. Macroevolution is the major kinds of animals and plants. According to evolution, the evolution worldview, all plants and animals are related. There is zero evidence of that. What we see is we see dogs producing dogs, cat producing cats, frogs producing, well, tadpoles. But anyway, that's all we see today. We don't see real evolution. That would be real evolution. Changing from a dog to now something that is not a dog. What about microevolution? Really, the word evolution shouldn't even be used there. All that is a simple variation. Now, do we see variations happen? That was a question. Do we see variations happen?
Yes.
Yeah, can we test that?
Yes.
Yeah, can we demonstrate that?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're talking science, baby. Something we can see, test, and demonstrate. The rest of those are a religious worldview, not part of science.
First of all, evolution is the study of change. Evolution is the study of change in form. The study of change in form and meaning. Okay, hopefully this gets us out of the idea of looking at ideology and evolution. Ideology is basically your interpretation of something. Okay, am I here? Can you see me? Yes. Why do you see me? Well, you know, if this is a physics class, we would talk about, you know, the light waves bouncing off of me and all of this. Okay. So basically what we're talking about here is a process, as Mr. Hovind has shown, that has a lot of different aspects.